Hey guys, what is going on? Carter here. Got another video for you. This is on the Twosun Knives TS45. So this is the 45th design that Twosun Knives has produced, and it is a freaking beauty. This one is on kind of the larger side from what Twosun Knives typically makes. They don't make any really big knives. Usually they're about medium to smaller size. They don't do any 4-inch bladed knives or anything like that. You can see a size comparison to the TS85. So this is about a 3.5-inch blade, somewhere around there. I'll put the specs down below. The comparison to a military, you can see right there. So quite a bit smaller than that. However, because of the design, the handle design, the blade to handle ratio, this thing is absolutely killer. You can see how it fits in my hand right there. I get a full grip with some even sticking out. It is really nice. The ergonomics on this thing are excellent. So let's do a quick weight on this, because one of the things that surprised me with this knife when I first held it is how light it felt. So it is 4.7 ounces, and I would say it feels lighter than that for some reason, probably because I see the full titanium handle and I just think heavier. So then I put it in my hand and it's not quite that heavy, so it kind of throws me off. But still, for the size, full titanium handle, it is on the lighter side. And the reason for that, as you can see, is you have these milled out pockets on the outside of the knife. So these are meant to actually showcase rather than be hidden inside for weight reduction. And then on the actual lock bar here, you have holes going all the way through. So let's do a quick top to bottom on this particular knife. This is produced by Twosun Knives, like I mentioned before. This one is designed by a designer called Night Morning Design. Now, he has designed a lot of knives for Twosun, and so far, everyone I've seen I have liked. Some I like more than others, but I am very surprised with what he's doing, because a lot of his stuff is quite outstanding, including this one. Now, there are a few things that I don't love on this knife, and I'll talk about that here in a minute, but for the most part, I really, really like it. So we have a D2 steel blade. Twosun logo right there. I don't love the Twosun logo, particularly the serif font that's used. I would much prefer they just did the logo in the center there, the icon. That would be really cool. But anyways, two-tone actually on here. So inside this milled pocket is blasted, and then inside these little pieces right here is blasted, and then I believe right here on the top is blasted as well. You can't really see that too much, but right there. Really nice blade shape, very functional, razor sharp out of the box. I'm very surprised with all of these Twosun knives, how sharp they are right out of the box. Flipper design has a captured ball bearing system in the pivot. Speaking of the pivot, it does appear to have a collar around it, which is a nice touch. I have not taken this one down yet. I may have to do that. Lock bar insert, just like most, if not all of their designs. Well, most, because I actually know of one that does not have that for a different reason, or it kind of does, but it's slightly different. Full titanium handles. Like I mentioned, milled pocket clip right there. I mean, you're getting all the top features of, kind of a quality, top-tier titanium knife in here. You're getting all the stuff. They're not going cheap with just a flat titanium clip. I mean, this is a milled titanium clip, full titanium backspacer. Really, really nice. The action on this thing is beautiful. Listen to this sound. I love that sound. Really nice. Yeah, I love that little clink right there. Sounds really cool. Perfectly centered. You can see how the handle to blade ratio works out. Just tucks right in there. Lanyard hole as part of the backspacer right there. Like I said, action is excellent. I haven't even broken this one in yet. I would not consider this broken in. I'm going to have to play with it quite a bit more to make that happen. But even not completely broken in, it will almost fall completely closed on its own. If you shake it, it will. Really, really nice. Flips well. Detent's pretty hard. That should soften up a little bit. You can see the flipper tab is pretty small. So that does make it a little more difficult to flip. It's in a good position, right in line with the pivot axis right there. But it is on the smaller side. You do have jimping up here, so you don't really slip off. But because it's on the smaller side, it doesn't flip as well as the TS85. You can see how it sticks out there. However, conversely, you also don't have a giant flipper tab sticking out all over the place. So it makes for a cleaner design. It keeps it out of the way. It doesn't, when you go to close it, it does not bump into your thumb when you go to close it. So kind of give and take there. It makes it a little difficult to flip, but it's also very unobtrusive. And for how small this flipper tab is, I would say it flips very excellently. Lock up, down, left, right, completely solid. Centering is dead on, like I said before. Overall, really, really cool knife, really cool design. Absolutely love it. I look forward to carrying this quite a bit more. You can see the blade. The grinds on this thing are excellent. Let me wipe this down again. Being a satin blade, and I've got some pretty bright lights pointed at it, so it kind of picks up every little piece of oil and blemish, but you can see how crisp the lines are on there. That's one of the things that kind of drew me to this company, was how beautiful the blades are. Really like the grinds. The machining on this thing, just like the TS85, is spot on. I would say this one is actually a little bit cleaner in terms of the finish than the TS85. I mentioned this one had a few minor kind of blemishes on it, some scratches on the blade, and just some minor finishing things that weren't done, super great for the price. Still amazing, but just nitpicking. It did have a couple things. This one does not seem to have anything. There's been no scratches at all on the blade. It has been absolutely perfect. The only thing I would kind of knock it for is the opening or the unlocking. You can see it does have a double recess on here, which is nice, but the scales are completely in line with each other. So this unlocking scale does not really protrude at all. So you don't have a ton of space to work with, especially with giant sausage thumbs like me. It is, I wouldn't say difficult to get in there. It just feels a little awkward compared to, like the 85 that actually has a nice recessed area. You can get in there, no problem. Like I said, I haven't really had a problem unlocking it or getting in there. It just doesn't feel as nice, because I kind of get like a half thumb type thing in there. But it does make for a symmetrical scale design on there. I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, ergonomics are great. The balance on this thing feels really good. It's about right at the finger choil there. I got pretty large hands and plenty of real estate. Very efficient use of space on all the knives I've seen from Twosun so far. So this is the TS45. You can pick this up for around the same price as any of the others, really, barring some of the M390 bladed knives that they offer. So anywhere from 40 to 60 bucks, just depending on how patient you are, what deal you jump on. If you're bidding on eBay or whatever. If you just want to buy it outright from like DHgate or something, you'll pay like 60 or 70 for it just to buy it. But on eBay, they do a lot of these for, you can get them for a lot less. So very cool knife. Check it out. It is the Twosun TS45, designed by Night Morning Designs. Like I said before, Night Morning has done a lot of really good stuff with Twosun knives. I look forward to some of the new designs that should be coming out. I follow them both on Instagram. I'd recommend doing the same thing if you want to kind of stay on top of what designs are coming out. Oh, before I go, so the TS85, it uses a channel system in the titanium scales. So it has a pin through the tang that rides in a channel on both sides of the scales. I've got a picture on Instagram if you want to see it. And that acts as the open and closed stop pins. The TS45, on the other hand, uses a traditional stop pin. You can see right there. This is the open and closed stop pin. So you can see in the closed position there, right above the flipper tab, that is the stop pin. And then when you open it, it does the same. I believe it has, you can see here how it actually rides inside of the blade. So it has kind of a minor channel that goes in through here, and then it wraps around that stop pin until it actually stops. So that's pretty cool. It's not using like a military stop pin where it's just a flat on the tang here hitting a stop pin. It actually has a curved recess, so it goes around it. So you just get more contact space. So it's less likely to build an indent and adjust your lockup in the future. It's going to stay more consistent. So anyways, that's that. I'm out of here, guys. Later.